Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I talk about the NWSL, women's soccer, just soccer, only soccer. I swear, there is always something going on with the NWSL. I release one video, talk about one story, and then a few hours later, or the next day, something out of left field comes out, which is kind of the case here. So the independent investigation into the Portland Thorns seems to have concluded, and players, yes, the Thorns players, released a statement in regards to the conclusion of that investigation. It reads, in October 2021, we, the players of the Portland Thorns, issued a statement demanding our organization show accountability and transparency for their role in the events leading up to and following the abuse of Mana Shim and Shanique Farrelly. Our three demands align with our team's core values of trust, openness, and solving problems. They were that the club 1. Put Gavin Wilkinson on administrative leave pending the results of an investigation. 2. Increase diversity in upper management. 3. Give the players a seat at the table to increase transparency and inter-organization cooperation. We would like to provide an update. The club hired DLA Piper to conduct an internal business review of soccer operations. We believe the club facilitated the most thorough investigation they legally could at this time. At the request of the NWSL and the NWSL Player Association, both past and current Thorns players were not allowed to be interviewed. When we are allowed to do so, players may choose to be interviewed, and we've been ensured that the investigation will be reopened. Based on the results of the investigation, we recognize the reinstatement of Gavin Wilkinson as president of soccer. In relation to our second and third demands, the club has adopted a confidential and anonymous reporting system engaged with a diversity and inclusion expert, and will require all managers at the club to partake in a yearly anti-harassment training. Yearly anti-harassment training. Players will continue to have a say in the practices and measures that ensure that the working environment for all employees of the club is safe. These are important first steps, and we look forward to building on that progress. We appreciate Mayor Paulson for responding to our concerns, acknowledging the seriousness of the situation, and for his commitment to upholding our team's values. We remain determined to cooperate with any and all investigations currently underway or those which may arise. And to our fans, we truly appreciate your understanding as we all continue to work our way through a very emotional and complex situation. If we have one ask of you right now, it would be this. Please be respectful to all club employees, their friends, and families. We understand that this situation is highly charged and deeply personal for everyone, but let's all do our best not to make a difficult situation more painful. Finally, thank you for your support. You're more essential than ever. Yeah, so that pretty much sums up the investigation. All the players on the Portland Thorns posted this statement on their Twitter or social media account, and that is that for now. Fans, as you can imagine, were not happy with the statement, and they were directing their anger and frustration towards the players. And honestly, don't do that. Because you're not mad at the players, you're mad at the investigation or lack thereof. The players were given the same results and information from the investigation, and this is their statement in regards to it. Some players may be satisfied with the investigation, while some may not be. We don't know the entire story. The players may not even know the entire story too. This is what they were given. Personally, I find it kind of weird that it's the players releasing this statement first. I think it should have been the Portland Thorns front office coming forward first to talk about the investigation and results, because it's their investigation and results, and then the players can release their response and statement to the investigation. I mean, good that the players released a statement, but extremely odd and sus that the Portland Thorns front office haven't said anything about the investigation yet. Like, it's just weird that the players got thrown to the wolves first. Let's focus on the independent investigation by DLA Piper. So one of the things that has my sus senses tingling is this line. At the request of the NWSL and the NWSL Players Association, both past and current Thorns players were not allowed to be interviewed. When we are allowed to do so, players may choose to be interviewed, and we've been ensured that the investigation will be reopened. Interviewing witnesses and people is important when it comes to investigations. How could this even be considered a proper investigation if players and people were not allowed to be interviewed? Of course, you're going to hit a dead end in an investigation if you're unable to do interviews and get statements from players. It sounds like a very limited investigation. There are so many questions that haven't been answered, and as for the results, it's more like we tried to do an investigation but couldn't get all the answers, so we had to work with what we got, which is kind of nothing. So here's Gavin Wilkinson back. You can't see me, but imagine me rolling my eyes. Becky Sauerbrunn, when she posted the statement, she added this: "The results and limitations of this investigation were shared with us, and we now share them with you. When allowed, I truly hope that the players comfortable to do so will speak to the firm. No one will be satisfied until all voices are heard. All anyone wants is the entire truth." Personally, from an investigative journalistic standpoint, something is up, something is clearly off, and doesn't feel right. Becky's statement kind of confirms that there is still a lot we don't know, and the truth isn't fully laid out yet. There are probably players that are wanting to speak up. For now, as it stands, I think this is one of these cases that we may never get all the answers. The results of this independent investigation is more of a dead end rather than an absolute conclusion or the answer to a solution. But believe it or not, more answers could come to light. The truth could be revealed in the future. The NWSL Players Association posted this after the players released their statement. The NWSL Players Association agreed to a joint investigation with the NWSL to conduct a thorough review with player input and representation. This is to ensure the safety of the players, ensure players have access to all relevant info, and have input into recommendations. Portland's internal review is not affiliated with the joint investigation by the NWSL Players Association and NWSL. The joint investigative team's work remains ongoing. So, there are still some ongoing investigations right now. I think U.S. Soccer is still doing their investigation. The NWSL and NWSL Players Association are also doing an investigation as well. Perhaps the NWSL and the Players Association didn't want Thorns players to be interviewed by DLA Piper because they didn't want the players to be compromised, or they thought the Thorns' internal investigation would interfere in the investigation that the NWSL and the Players Association are doing. At the end of the day, I have no idea. Again, I think something is up, and this tweet that I found says it all. Remember when the North Carolina Courage players collectively said they stood by Hinkle? Then it later came out that they were not, in fact, in support of everything going on. Apply that knowledge to the Portland players' statement. Something smells here, and it's not roses. Whether and if the whole truth gets revealed or not, it's still unknown. And as the last line says, something definitely smells here, and it's not roses. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today or tonight. Don't attack the Thorns players, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.